This is a classic Bolognese sauce, and so it's got carrots and celery, onions, garlic, tomatoes, wine, milk, and beef and salt and pepper. So we're just going to cut up a couple of stalks of celery and a couple of carrots, and you can peel or not peel the carrots. It's going to be cooking a long time, so it doesn't really matter. You can also do this in the food processor. Then we're going to dice up an onion, and normally I use a white onion, but all I have today is a red onion, so there you have it. That's what's going to happen. And then we're going to cut up a couple cloves of garlic. If it's got the bitter green ends, root ends in there, you can take them out, but you're going to cook it. If you were eating it raw, you would take out those roots, but since you're not, you can just go ahead and chop them up. I like to prep on a plate because it's easier to go in the dishwasher. And got some butter. And olive oil will go in this as well. And I'm using red wine today, but I prefer the white wine for this recipe, but red is all I have. Canned whole tomatoes, they're very flavorful, and then normally milk, but I've just got some half and half, so I'm just gonna water it down and call that good. So I've got a stock pot at medium-high heat, and I'm gonna add some olive oil and also the butter. And then add the vegetables, that would be the carrot, celery, and onions. Add a little bit of salt, that gives it flavor. But it also helps break down the cellular wall to cook a little bit faster. You can cover it here, but you don't want to overcook this. You don't want it brown. It's, if you mess that up, that's fine, but you want it translucent. So moderate the heat. You might need to turn that down. And then when that's translucent, add the beef and break it up. This is minced, so you want to keep on breaking it up. Add a little bit of salt, add a little bit of pepper, and this is a fish spatula. And I think that works it's really helpful in breaking up and mincing that meat. So after that's all cooked, add a little bit of garlic to dip it in the middle and it cooks in the oil, and cook that 1 to 2 minutes or until it's fragrant. And once it's fragrant, that's good, just mix it up. So next we're gonna add in the milk. And that's gonna turn like frothy and gray and gross looking, but just trust the process. The milk is breaking down the proteins, making it uber tender, and also it's just adding some depth of flavor. So that's cooked about 30 minutes, and I'm looking to see that it's all soaked up. There's some oil at the bottom there, and I'm just gonna move on to the wine. Cook that for 30 to 35 minutes, and until that's reduced as well, that all that might be left is a little bit of oil. Or you can continue to cook that oil off if you have some more time. Let me say here that this is all cooked uncovered at this point. And as the liquid reduces, you need to moderate the heat and turn it down because it's obviously going to get hotter with less to cook. So at that point, we're going to add in the tomatoes. And I use whole canned tomatoes here. I think they're very flavorful. I think they're a better quality tomato when they're whole. And I just smash them with my hands. I turn off the heat and I just get in there and smash it all up. And you can use diced tomatoes here, but the canned whole tomatoes are really fun. It's fun to smash them too, so get in there, but wear an apron because they're squirting all over the place. But go low in there and hopefully you'll mitigate that. Cook that for an hour to an hour and a half. So right now check in, this is an hour, and this is a little too saucy because Bolognese isn't about the sauce, it's about the meat. So if you want to rush it and it's going to taste delicious, go eat then, knock it out. But this is after an hour and a half. It's really rich, it's really thick, it's going to continue to thicken. I'm going to taste it, I'm going to add salt to taste. I never added salt during the sauce process. At that point, because I already salted the vegetables, I salted the beef. And so cook your favorite pasta, serve this with some Parmesan cheese, and it freezes really well too. So you can find this recipe at eatsimplefood.com.